All right, so fourth day of the MARSOC3 trial. This will be the last day for this week, and then it's going to be heading in probably another 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to ask a question here because I think it's sort of pertinent. People's comments below I think will be interesting, and that is, when is it appropriate to lie? Now, we see this in our society with our politicians all the time. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. There are plenty of lies to go around. Our politicians do it all the time. We just had a congressman, George Santos, get elected. I don't think he can tell the truth. Everything out of his mouth is an absolute fabrication, and it's and yet there seems to be no consequences. That's the problem. There used to be consequences when people would lie. Like when President Biden initially ran for president and he was caught with plagiarism and all sorts of mistruths, he stepped down. He didn't run for president. And, now you see George Santos actually is an elected congressman, but I don't want to get political because we could point out left, right, all the way through different political agendas. But is it okay for an attorney to lie? And a United States Marine attorney, Marines, they hold themselves to a higher standard of honor, courage, commitment. And there tends to be consequences when those three values are violated. So now we have a courtroom scene, and the manner in which we conduct our due process is through an adversarial system. The prosecution presents their case as strongly as they can. The defense presents their case as strongly as they can. And the judge is supposed to serve as the arbiter, as the judge, to make sure everybody's following the rules and staying in line. And they're really supposed to be looking out for the individual who the prosecution and defense are battling back and forth about. But there are rules. There's those things that you can get away with, and then there are things that are morally and ethically wrong, even if you can get away with them. So what specifically am I talking about? So first of all, the witnesses are already giving their testimony. The deceased in this case, his wife was put up by the prosecution as a witness. She wasn't at the scene of the altercation. She doesn't know what happened. She wasn't even in Iraq when this whole thing happened. So why would she be the lead witness for the prosecution unless you don't really have a strong evidentiary case? You're going by something that's purely emotional. Now, understandably, we often bring in family members, and should somebody be found guilty, like we want impact witnesses to talk about sentencing, all the rest, but we're not even there. We haven't even found guilt. So it's interesting that the prosecution would lead off with an emotional heartstring type moment for the first witness. And moreover, when I'm talking about deceit and lies, the prosecution knows what actually happened, and yet they realize the jury, the panel, does not yet really know all the facts. So they're trying to influence their thinking. And so in their statements, they're talking about how Gunnery Sergeant Josh Negron hit this person multiple times, got on top of him, and struck him at least twice. But the problem is, they've seen the video. The prosecution knows that's not the truth. They know that did not happen. So how could they say something like this? Well, apparently one of the people that was at the incident at the time, when he was asked what actually happened, he said, I don't know, it looked like Josh, hit this other person once or twice. Was it more than twice? I don't know. So look, I get it. In chaotic situations, when things happen, spur of the moment, whatever, it's hard to really remember exactly what happened. And that's why even in sporting events, It's like, hey, let's go to the tape. Let's go to the video. Let's see what actually happened. Did that individual step out of bounds? Did they catch the ball? Was there a foul? We try to get the facts. And so there is video, which will be introduced. There are security surveillance cameras that captured the incident. And the prosecution has seen them all. So for them to mislead or try to mislead the jury by saying, well, we don't really know, may have hit him multiple times, it's absolutely deceitful. They're playing this as a game. They're playing this to win, to get there, to further their career, but certainly not to bring about justice, not to make sure that these warriors are treated fairly and justly. They're in it to win it, make no doubt about it. And, speaking about integrity, and the game, they tried to get these warriors to plea out, to get a plea deal so that they wouldn't have to go to trial. But what's interesting is the MARSOC3 said, we can't take a deal because to do that, we would have to lie. We would have to admit to doing something we didn't do simply to get a lesser potential sentence. So this is really, when you look at the battle of good versus evil, the MARSOC3 really represent good, honor, courage, commitment. The prosecution here, the fact that they would even try to imply things that they know for a fact are not facts, that's evil. So we'll keep you updated on what's going on here. Pray for the MARSOC3, and God bless you all. Semper Fi. Have a great day.